What's up, Dodger Nation? What's happening, fellas? We're trying this on all of this other screens here. Looks like I got you guys on Facebook, on Instagram. I think I got you on YouTube and Periscope and everywhere else that we're all here on Dodgers Nation. I'm loving it. Look at that. Way to come back, have an 8-2 win for the Dodgers and over a team that has been pretty good, not so great as of late, but the Atlanta Braves have a pretty strong lineup. That Ronald Acuna Jr. has been really, really, really good. And I am going to say, let's see if all these graphics are starting to work for me now. Look at this. At Bergman Greg. It's going to be on there on the bottom of the screen there. And this is what I want to do. This game is over. 8-2 win for the Dodgers. I got you on Instagram. Say hello. Hit the like button. Do everything that you got to do. And tell me where you guys are calling from. I'm in the 818. I just watched that game and it was fantastic. And you saw a whole bunch there. I'm going to get into everything. I'm going to show you exactly what I want to hit here. I want to hit all these topics. It was Hills Hill tonight. It was Machado with the eyeballs. That was a blast. I want to talk a little bit about our bullpen love because it's been a great bullpen, and there is help coming. We're going to get to all that stuff very, very soon. But first, tell me where you're at. Where are you? I'm in the 818, like I said, just watching the game. And in the other room right now, crazy enough, I have 6 little 6-year-old girls running around doing their thing, and it is loud in there. So if you can hear them, I apologize, but this is just the way that this has to be. This is the life that I lead, and I'm all about it. No problem whatsoever. All right, so look what I got here. Hey, Richard Medina Flores, hello from Cincinnati. Look at you calling all the way up from Cincinnati. That is great. What do we got here? Go Blue, watching from OKC. I've already got an OKC, Cincinnati, Riverside, West Laco, Texas. Look at that. Yuma, Arizona. How about over here? I see Win. Yes, big time Win here. Tell me where you're at over on Instagram too. You have so many here. Victorville from Paramount, 562. Bottoms Kathy, all the way Dodgers. That's right, all the way Dodgers. Keep on coming in. What else do we have here? Did you kidnap these girls? No, AJ, no, I don't know. Why you gotta say things that make me say it out loud so it makes me sound like a crazy person? But no, one of them is my daughter, stepdaughter type thing, and the others are her friends, and they got a whole bunch going on. But the 951 from James Rodriguez, you guys are be happy. How about this? Let's do this first. Just slam on that like button and slam on that, smash that heart button because Manny Machado hit a home run as a Dodger. He hit a home run as a Dodger, and we gotta be pumped and happy about that. Look at you, where you got Flowers for Life. You got 562 Santa Fe Springs, California. Great job coming in here. Santa Clarita, all right. Maple Valley, Washington. This is coming from all over the place. Look at this. Look at all my. I'm loving how all my little buttons are all working. You can see my smash that art button. My topics pop up. If I want to say instead of that, I want to say, hey, like and comment. This is gonna pop up over here. All this stuff is great. What's happening here? I'm kind of excited about all these cool little buttons that I get to press. But anyway, love the game. 8-2 win. Fantastic game. Let's get right into it and get right to, before I get into all your questions, because I know you have 1,000 of them. But as this is going on, continue to hit those hearts and let me know what you guys think. But I'm going to start off with Hills Hill. This tonight was Rich Hill's game. This is the game that you expect to see from Rich Hill in the best type of situation for him. He had that, he had the curveball working, he had the fastball working at the right time, he had everything that you would expect from him. People have been giving him a lot of crap for what he's gone through this year. He was injured, he came back. Since he's come back with that blister, he has been great. He got laser on the blister, and since he's come back, has been throwing really well. He gives up a jack here and there, but who doesn't at this point? It's just kind of how this goes. So, tonight he was fantastic, though. I think he had 7 or 8 strikeouts. He went 7 strong innings. I was one of those people that was sitting there thinking, all right, he's in 90 pitches through 6 innings. Don't let him come out for that 7th inning. He's looking to go. That's when the runs start piling up. However, he came out, strikeout. He was strong, and you gotta love him coming through on his own in the top of the 7th when he's hit for himself, got that single, brought in another run. That's the type of thing you want from Rich Hill, and it was great to see. All right, how about my boy Manny Machado? He had a rough game the other night with going 0 for 6, but that blast tonight was a blast. That was a no-doubter. Anibal Sanchez threw a ball right down the pipe to him, and he didn't miss it for anything. That thing was blasted out of there, and that's what I'm expecting to see from Manny Machado. When I was doing this before, in my topic section over here, it said Hills Hill, and I had Machado, because I wasn't sure what was going on with him. He wasn't hitting the ball as well. It was a little bit... He was seeing balls go by that you weren't expecting. He was, he was striking out on pitches that you really thought he wasn't going to be striking out on. But he's starting to find that groove, and this home run is going to be, that first home run is just a weight off of your shoulder. And now I expect him to be the same guy that he was in Baltimore, and it's going to happen. I really think it is. It's going to be beautiful to see. All right, let me talk about this bullpen for a second. And I'm going to get the exact stat because Joe Davis put it up today. And it was a great stat, and it means so much for this Dodgers team because this bullpen is getting maligned left and right. We need bullpen help. We need bullpen help. That's all that the Dodgers need, and then they're set. Look, you can always get great arms in the bullpen. I totally agree with that. If you want to add another bullpen arm, I'm all for it. You can never have enough. However, I don't think this is it's necessity to get a bullpen arm in here. Joe Davis, over the last 60 games, the Dodgers bullpen leads the NL in ERA with a 3.13 ERA and average against at 2.15. Corresponds exactly with the team's turnaround. Over the last 60 games, the Dodgers are winning games. They're in first place alone, and now they're back up to a game and a half up on Arizona because Arizona blew it to the Cubs today. What was that about? That was crazy, right? I just was never expect them to just blow a game like that, but that's your same old Diamondbacks. What do you want me to say? But the bullpen looks really good, and as we get going further on, we have 6 starters. Ryu's coming back, and that goes to help with the help coming, what you can see over on the right here. If you're not on Instagram, anywhere else you can see it. But help is coming. Hyunjin Ryu had a simulation game today. He's going to have another one on Saturday. He's going to have 4 starts in the minor leagues, and then he's going to be back up with the team. So there's more. Then you're going to have 7 starters in this team. You already have a 6-man rotation. You're about to have a 7-man rotation. So by the time you get to the end of September, you are going to see that whoever the top 3 to 4 pitchers that are pitching the best at the end of September, they're going to be the starters, and then the other guys will move into the bullpen, and that's fine because Alex Wood, who's pitching really well, in the bullpen. He's pitched out of the bullpen before. He can do it. Kenta Maeda, if he's not the guy that's pitching the best, pitched out of the bullpen. He was great in the World Series last year, and he can do it out of the bullpen again. Ross Stripling pitched out of the bullpen, and he's way up on his innings limit. So, again, another guy that can pitch out of the bullpen. That's already 3 guys out of the 7, and there's more that can pitch out. Rich Hill was ready to pitch out of the bullpen the other night. If he's not that guy, he is at an age where he's saying, I'm in, I will go to the bullpen when I need it. I want to win a championship, and I love that about him, and he's going to be that guy. So help is coming. I love the bullpen. Machado with the blast ready to go, and tonight was Rich Hill's Hill. All right, let's start it up with the questions. I'm ready to go. I know that's all you guys want, so I'm going to let you guys ask your questions. But first, I need a little drink from my LA Dodgers cup here. Let's start up here. I saw one about relievers, and I know that relievers, this is on Facebook, I know that we're going to go to relievers. And remember, follow me on Twitter, @BergmanGreg. I answer all your questions. Go to #DNPostgame if you need anything outside of these postgames. When I'm not doing them, go to #DNPostgame, and either myself, Kev is your friend, or Real FRG from the Blue Heaven podcast will be answering your questions every night after there's a game if I'm not doing this live postgame. So like I said, let's move on over here to the Facebook and get some of these questions up here. James Rodriguez. Obviously, we're still getting guys healthy, but what is a realistic bullpen piece that the front office can add? Barraclough? Look, Barraclough has been pitching fantastic. There's 3 guys outside in that Miami bullpen, and really 4 if you want to add Brad Ziegler, but 3 guys that are coming out of that Miami bullpen that have been pitching really, really well. Adam Conley, Kyle Barraclough, and Drew Steckenrider. And all 3 of those guys are going to be guys that could very well be that piece that you're looking for the Dodgers coming up soon. So yes, any one of those guys would be the ones that you're going to think. But here's the thing with this front office. they do things on the cheap. They do things under the radar. They don't always say what they're thinking, and they're not always, and you never know what's going to happen. But basically, like, think about it last year. Last year you had Singrani and Watson. Both of those guys came out of nowhere. We did not expect those moves at all. And when they happened, you're like, whoa, 2 left-handed relievers? What are you doing? They were key down the stretch. And that all happened without the front office saying what they were thinking. So it just kind of came out, and that's exactly what I expect today. It's going to be a cheap, good bullpen arm that have the splits that they're looking for. They want the good home and away splits. They're going to look for guys that are righty versus lefty matchup, lefty versus lefty matchup. All these things are all going to change as time goes on. Let's try it out here on Instagram, because I love you guys on Instagram. I know you get a better feed than what they're getting over there. It's a little bit slower, but we're going to go over here. How are you liking Machado? SoundCloud Draper name. I love Manny Machado so far. He was starting to get a little bit worrisome of what he was doing in the last couple games. Let's just be honest. Those games in Philadelphia were a little bit tough. They should have had at least 2 of those 3 of those wins. I blame that second game, the 16-inning game, squarely on Dave Roberts. I mean, Manny Machado had his chances though, and he didn't come through in those. But I like them. I love what Manny Machado did, and like I said at the beginning, Machado and what he is bringing to this team, hitting that home run is a huge weight off his shoulder, and Manny Machado is going to be the guy that you saw in Baltimore going forward. He is not going to be like Josh Reddick, where everybody hates him. He's going to be a guy that's going to get on base. He's going to play fantastic defense, especially when he's at third, and he's going to be and his offense is going to be exactly what you want, and he's got protection all around him. I'm very happy with what I'm seeing from Manny Machado. Let's go over here. I'm going to try and go back and forth between the two. So Alexis Lexi Rickward losing leads to East. Justin is out for how long? Justin Turner is on the 10-day DL. I don't know exactly how long it's going to be, but he can take his time. He's still having that groin issue. They're not ready. Because this team is so deep, Alexis, you can actually have more time with Justin out, and when he comes back, I want him 100% healthy and ready to go, and not just coming back because they need him like they did at the beginning of the year. So if he's out for a little while, totally fine with that. It's Justin Turner will be back, hopefully just the 10 days, but if he needs a little bit more time, that's totally fine. Middle of August for most of these guys. And by the way, Yasiel Puig coming back starting on Saturday. I know he has at least a double tonight in AAA. Let's see. Dodgers better record than Cubs by end of September. Juan Diaz. You know what? I love what the Cubs did tonight. They picked up Cole Hamels, and Cole Hamels, if you look at his splits, he's terrible in Texas. Texas has his splits at home are awful for Texas because it's a hitter-friendly ballpark. It's just not his type. When he is up in Wrigley Field, though, and he's pitching there, he had 3 years ago, his last start with Philadelphia, he pitched a no-hitter. He has, I think, a below 2 ERA at Wrigley Field. So I love that move for the Cubs, and I think they're going to be strong because of it. Do I think that the Dodgers will have a better record than the Cubs? Yes. I think they're already going. It's right on the cusp. I think it's only 2 games right now, 1 or 2 in the loss column, but I think that the Dodgers will surpass the Cubs. The Dodgers are the team to beat in the National League, and all Manny Machado did was just enhance that. So I honestly believe that the Dodgers are going to run away with the NL West, and I think they're gonna win the division, and they're gonna have home field throughout the NL playoffs. Let's go back over to Facebook. You still got my name under there, at Bergman Greg. Remember, at Dodgers Nation if you want to talk to him. Hashtag DN Postgame if you want to get in touch with the guys from Blue Heaven or myself. And at Official Dodgers Nation here on Instagram. Hit it. Look at it all the time. Follow it. The guys at Dodgers Nation do the best job. And every game they're there, and they're funny, and they're great. Always stick with them. All right, back to Facebook Live. Will Puig go to Rancho Cucamonga? I believe he's there right now. If he's not, he's in Tulsa, because he's either in AA or AAA. I believe he's in AAA right now. But he's got a hit. He's already coming back, Lawrence. So he'll be back on Saturday. He got 4 at bats tonight, and he'll be back on Saturday. Machado is good. Ernest Mota Jr. Machado is good. He just has only AL pitching to go from. The NL has a different style of pitching. It's going to take some time to get used to it. That's absolutely true. I mean, people like to say that the hitting is better in the AL and the pitching is better in the NL, and that's very true. You know what? I have this theory. I try running it by people. People don't always believe me with it, but I have this theory with Manny Machado. He was on an AL team, and he was on a very bad AL team, and he was getting. The Baltimore Orioles were giving up 5-6 runs a game on the regular, and they were down by 6. Opposing pitchers could challenge Machado there. With the Dodgers, they can't challenge him as much as they could when he was in the AL. So you're gonna be seeing his best pitches all the time, or Machado's gonna be seeing the best pitches from those pitchers all the time. So those guys are gonna be. It's gonna be harder to get that hit, and he needs to change over to this NL style of pitching. He'll be fine. I think he's gonna be great over here. A hitter is a hitter is a hitter. He is a top 5 player in this game. Period. I don't think anything's wrong with Manny Machado. Alex Bellinger. Machado, Bellinger, Hart, I love it. I agree with you. Bellinger is having a little bit of a rough time. Bellinger is starting to get a little bit rough to watch because he's letting pitches go by that he should be swinging at, and he's swinging at pitches that he's not. Today there was a ball that was right around his shoulder length, where he loves to get the bat up there and go high, and he just let it go right by, and it was a strike right down his alley, and he just let it go by. His eye just doesn't look as good as it once did, and it's very hard to watch with Bellinger. He does look a little bit lost, Pax Miller. I am a little bit worried, but I think he'll be fine. Remember at the beginning of the year, he was bad. What's interesting, though, is that if you look at his splits, they're just not... July, he's been really good, even though when you look him at the plate, the eye test is telling you that no, he hasn't been that good. But the numbers are still getting there. He's walking, he's getting on base. When he gets that hit, he's hitting the ball hard. So it's just getting that little bit of extra luck, and he's finding that his eye just a little bit better because he's just not finding that swing that you were used to and seeing before. All right, remember, on Facebook, remember to smash on that like button. Let people know, let Facebook know that you're liking what you're seeing and you want to see more and more of this. The more comments, the more likes, the more hearts, the more angry faces or whatever it is, the more that Facebook says to you, oh, I like this and I'm going to push it out. Remember, you don't get this on anywhere else where you can look directly at me and ask me a question and I can give you a direct answer. Nowhere else in the world is going to let you do that. So keep coming here, tell your friends, tell everybody else, and let's keep going on with the questions. I'm going to come back to Instagram, even though I know I got to go over to Facebook in just a second. What do you think about the Dodgers bullpen, Andrew Thompson? Look, I talked about the Dodgers bullpen a little bit. I even gave you that stat from Joe Davis today. They have had the best bullpen in the National League over the last 60 games when they've gone on their giant run. I think this bullpen is doing a great job. They're going to give up a run here and there. No bullpen is perfect. It's just how it is. Guys are going to give up runs when you hope that they don't, but it's going to happen. And I think this bullpen is really good, and I think that if you add one more piece, great. If you don't, I'm not upset. I think they can win the World Series with the roster they have right now because that pitching staff is all about 27 outs, right? It's all about 27 outs, and if you get the bullpen with the guys they have, plus the starters that are going to move to the bullpen, and Caleb Ferguson has been great, and he's not even talked about. So there's a bunch of guys that you're not seeing as much of that are going to be bigger. Pedro Baez is back. I know those are dangerous words, and I'm one of the worst at it. I hate Pedro Baez. If you're watching Baez, I hate you as a player. Sorry. Nothing I can do about it. I've said it enough on the air. I've said it enough here. I don't like you pitching. However, right now, this is a good time for you to be pitching, and pitching in an 8-2 game, low leverage situations, love it. Absolutely use Baez in those situations all the time. Let's go back over to Facebook, and let's see. Rafael Santiago, with Puig and Grandal on their final year of their contract, do we keep them and possibly lose them at the end of the year, or do we shop either of them pre-deadline? Well, see, this is an interesting question, and I actually really, really like this question, Rafael. So, Grandal is having an amazing, amazing July right now. It's the best in baseball right now. I think he's first in the major leagues in OPS, third in on-base percentage, or first in on-base percentage. It's a whole bunch of these crazy numbers, and he's just been killing the ball, and he was great tonight. Was on it a couple times tonight, on base tonight too. But Grandal is a guy that I don't see coming back next year. I would hope so, but he is an unrestricted free agent, and I think he's going to get paid a lot. I would love to see him one more year because there was a brand new rankings today from the minor league top 30. The number two player for the Dodgers in their minor leagues, Keibert Ruiz. He's a catcher. Number 3, Will Smith. He's a catcher. Number, I think, 11 was another guy who was a catcher. And number 17, Connor Wong, was also a catcher. Some of these guys came from not ranked to like 13. So they're full of catchers. They have so many good catchers that I would be okay moving some of them if you're getting the right piece. If you're not, then you have to be careful with trading these guys because I wouldn't trade them for a Manny Machado, per se, even though we got him, because Machado's probably not going to be back next year, and guys like Ruiz or Smith can come to spring training and just kill the ball like Ruiz did earlier this year, and he can take over that starting spot with Austin Barnes, who hasn't been playing that well. So it's going to be a young team, and it's going to be another. So catcher are guys that you think can possibly move on. Grandal, for what he does, he has the power, he has the on base, he has the average, he has the pitch framing, which is a big part of being a catcher in the Major League Baseball. He's a great pitch framer. Somebody's going to give him a multi-year, long-term deal, big money or decently sized money that he's not going to get with the Dodgers. So Grandal is going to go. However, with Puig, here's the thing. Everybody remembers 2013 Puig. I remember 2013 Puig. I loved 2013 Puig. I have a shirt from Dodgers Nation, official Dodgers Nation shirt, says Wild Horse number 66. It's a great shirt. Everybody remembers that Puig. But if you look at him this year, despite the fact that after he came off the DL, he started to look better, you had a Puig that has a negative defensive WAR. And that's a huge thing. He has never had a negative defensive WAR. He is a guy that you stress on his defense. You remember these great throws, napping guys out and grabbing guys, whatever you want me to say. Getting guys out at third base, at home, nabbing a guy at second. It's all these things that you are used to seeing. He has 6 assists this year and 5 errors. He has a .950 fielding percentage. Those are not good numbers. Those are not the defensive numbers that you expect from Puig. And if he doesn't have the power and if he doesn't have everything else, he's got an arbitration year. If he's willing to take just a small amount of money, great. Otherwise, let him go and let one of these other guys like Alex Verdugo, Andrew Tolles. There's other guys in the minor league system that are just. DJ Peters kills the ball. I think he's struggling a little bit right now, but he is a hitter. And I think there's a lot of look. Alex Verdugo looked great, and he looks like he belonged tonight. These were a lot of things that he did that he looked like he belonged. That was a great throw from the outfield tonight in the ninth inning. Those are things that you expect from Puig that you got from Verdugo. So if Verdugo is going to get on base and he's going to get hits and he's going to have an easier, better strike zone of knowing where the strike zone is, I kind of like Verdugo better. So if you got to trade Puig, you got to trade Puig. All right, that was a long answer, but we're going to move on and go to Danny Flores. Are we getting a starting pitcher? I don't think we need a starting pitcher. Should we get a starting pitcher? It depends on who it is. I was kind of high on Cole Hamels just because I know the Dodgers have always wanted him. His away splits looked really good. He ended up going to... Of course, I'm in the middle of a sentence and I see something from Kevin Perez and I lose my mind here and start laughing at what he says because he's a funny guy. Remember, Blue Heaven Podcast, really good with him in FRG, which is, well, I'm just finding out, fat Ryan Gosling. Crazy. But no, about getting back to the starting pitching, I would trade for DeGrom. I would trade a lot of guys for DeGrom. I would trade Keibert Ruiz or Will Smith. I would trade a catcher. I would trade a couple pitchers. I would trade Puig if they wanted to make money work and all that. I would trade a lot of things to get a guy like Jacob DeGrom, who is having a fantastic year, 30 years old, so it's a little bit, you don't really like guys on that side of 30. However, he's having a great year. He is under arbitration eligibility for 2 more years, so you have him under control for a while, and he steps in directly as a number 2 starter, maybe even a number 1 starter right off the bat. So those are 2 guys. That's a guy that you would love to see on there. I wanted to see Cole Hamels. He's up in Chicago now. I think that was a great pickup for the Cubs. That's going to work out really well for them. He's really, really good at Wrigley Field. And Another guy, people are talking about Chris Archer. Chris Archer, if you look at his stats, they're just not the same thing that they were 2-3 years ago. He was really good for a while, but he's hovering right around the 4.5 ERA, with a 4.5 FIP, fielding independent pitching. So it's just his pitching, and it's just not what you're kind of expecting to see. Maybe a change of scenery, but I wouldn't give up this huge amount for Chris Archer because I don't trust Chris Archer. So I think he just comes in as a 3-starter. I don't want to give up too much for him, and the price is probably going to be too high. I think what we have here is really good, but if you give me somebody like a DeGrom, I'm all in. I mean, let's just be honest, I'm all in. All right, let's go back over to to Instagram Live. Let's get this up. Keep giving those hearts, giving the thumbs up, all that stuff, because Instagram loves seeing that stuff. Andrew Thompson, 0128. Who do you think will be in the World Series this year? All right, we're getting too far ahead of ourselves. If you want me to just off the top of my head, I think it's a rematch. I think it's the Dodgers and the Astros again, although I think that the Red Sox could easily get there again because they're that good and they're that strong. I think the Yankees are making a strong push, and I think that Cleveland got really good, but I think the Astros are that much better. Let's go back over to Facebook. Let's move to, I got to move this down. You said no to Chris Archer. I just answered about Chris Archer. I can't go back. Raphael, totally agree. Verdugo belongs. Good. I'm glad you agree. Danny Trevino, thoughts on Kershaw? Look, thoughts on Kershaw. That's always a tough subject. Look, Kershaw's looked really good. That game on Saturday, that wasn't his fault in the loss. That was honestly a Max Muncy problem at third base. He threw that game away. Kershaw pitched really well. I have no problem with the way that he's been pitching. Since he's come back from the DL, he's gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. Do you want me to say that he's more than a 6-inning pitcher at this point? I can't do it. I think with the way how much he's been hurt, how much it has been a problem, I can't tell you that Kershaw is the same guy that he's been. If he gets hurt again, I see him opting in. If he doesn't get hurt and he pitches great throughout it, I see him opting out and going wherever he gets the most money. But it really depends on his back, and it depends on so many other things. I think Kershaw can be that guy. He can still be that number one starter that we need. I don't care about his age. He's 30 years old. Look at Justin Verlander. He was 34, 35 years old now. He got to Houston, and all of a sudden he blew up again. He was throwing 90s. He was throwing low 90s with his velocity. Now he's way up in like the 94s, 95s again. It happens. As you get older, things get better. I think that if he can find that again here, that little fountain of youth down here with the Dodgers, then I am all in on Kershaw. I just don't think that that's the guy that he is anymore, and it's just too bad. Emma Ferninger, should he be a bullpen pitcher? No. There's certain guys that can pitch out of the bullpen. Kershaw has a way that he does things. He goes out and he does the same routine every single time, and he's going to do that every time. He's not going to the bullpen. The only time you'll see him in the bullpen is a game like Game 7 of the World Series when he comes in the third inning. Although, we're not going to get into that because that is heartbreaking. I feel terrible about it. The World Series just absolutely killed me, and I don't want to do it again. I refuse to do it, so I'm not getting into the World Series from last year. I'm sorry. It's too painful. I hate it. I'm not doing it. All right. Real fast, before I get to another more of these questions, remember, at Bergman Greg on Twitter, follow me. I will answer you. My DMs are open. I answer everybody. I try and get to everybody. I try and give you... And if I'm not on one of these live post games, I'm going to try and do 2 to 3 a week. If I'm not on, go to hashtag DN Postgame and at RealFRG, which is fake Ryan Gosling, and at Kev is your friend. He is Kevin. He is also a part of Kevin Perez Allen. He is also a part of the Blue Heaven podcast. Those two are. They will answer your questions on hashtag DN Postgame as well as I will as well. So go to hashtag DN Postgame and we'll answer your questions when I'm not live like this. Plus, remember to follow at Official Dodgers Nation on Instagram and at Dodgers Nation everywhere else because they're the best. All right, I'm going to try and get a few more questions in. I promise, since I have kids and I have like 6 of them and I got to help with all that, I got about 5-10 more minutes. I'm going to try and answer as many as I can. It's going to be rapid fire. Let's go. Get as many in there as I can. Elmer Calderon, Cody Bellinger to AAA. No, that's crazy. He needs to work through it. He's not going to do it. There's no reason to it. He will work through it. He's still a power bat. He's still going to be a guy. I think he just needs to work on it a little bit. Needs to work with Turner Ward just a little bit more, and maybe find his own guy, whatever it is. But he will be fine. He just needs to work through it. pull him down in the lineup if you have to, but he will be a guy that will get better. SoundCloud, we answered this. Should the Dodgers go for DeGrom? I believe yes. They are at a spot where you can go after Jacob DeGrom. I think they should, and they will. It just depends on whether the Mets are going to be reasonable, because he's under control for 2 more years. He's not going to want to do that. It's just not going to happen. So, we'll see. But I would say yes if he's available and is for the right price, because that's what this front office does. They look for the right price. Marianne, stop talking about last year's World Series. It's history. Move on. I am. You tell all your brethren, your Dodgers brethren, that to move on. I get questions about last year's World Series all the time. Make it stop. Ernest Mota Jr., Kev, your friend, equals George Costanza. I never thought of that way, but that's absolutely true. I mean, I guess that makes Real FRG Newman. I guess I am Kramer. I don't know, but I love that show. It was a fantastic show. Douglas Mendoza, what worked through it? Well, I mean, look, this is what they're doing with him. He's not going to be sent to AAA. He was not sent to AAA at the beginning of the year. Cody will not go to AAA now. It's just how this front office works. It's just how Dave Roberts works. He's not going. So all you people are like, oh, you should go to AAA. You should go to AAA. It's not going to AAA. Stop it. Like, just let's be a little bit more... Let's just be a little more realistic about these things, okay? He's not going to AAA. Ryan Castillo, just back Cody 8th. Fine. It worked for Puig. Maybe it can work for Cody. I think those are multiple things that can absolutely work. We'll see what else we can get. I'm getting a lot of thumbs up, and I'm getting a lot of, the okay sign, but let's see what else we got. You talk too much, Grab. I don't know what that means, but sure, I'll try and stop using the word grab every once in a while, but... we'll see what happens. Do you see us getting someone before the deadline? Junior Meoli, however you say it. Yes, I do, because this front office is not going to just let Manny Machado be the last thing that they do. They are constantly looking, and there's a report out that the guys from the Marlins are watching the AAA and AA team right now. They're actually watching Yadier Alvarez right now because there's a possibility that Yadier Alvarez, who has dropped in the top 30 ranking for the minor league system for the Dodgers, he's dropped. He was around 7 or 8, and now he's down to 10. He's moving backwards. They're not really as high as on Yadier Alvarez as they were before. So he could be a guy that moves, maybe for a Barraclaw, maybe for an Adam Conley, maybe for Drew Steckenrider, possibly even Brad Ziegler. I don't know if I'm really high on Ziegler. I'm highest on, I think Conley's looking really good, and I think Barraclaw is looking really, really good too. So those are the guys that I would much rather see than anyone else. But those are the kind of the guys. Hill, why was he pulled tonight? Because he was over 100 pitches and he went through 7 innings. There was no reason to have him going any further than that. It was an 8-0 lead. All you're going to do is cause him a little bit more problems. I mean, why do we want to push him further along than he really needs to be? We want him strong in September. I thought he wasn't going to pitch the 7th. I was shocked when I saw him come out. I was shocked when he pitched for himself in the 7th. So for him to come out, good for him. He pitched great in the 7th, so it was great. I had no problem with it. It went off before you could say anything. I don't know if it is my server or yours, bro. Oh, I don't know. It could be something else. I'm just looking around. I just read things that are in front of me. I'm like Ron Burgundy. If it's in front of me, I read it. I don't care what you're saying. Let's see. Steve Ladiner. Would the Dodgers insert Maeda as the setup guy? All right, so this is a great question from you, Steven. So this is a Dodgers team that doesn't have a setup guy. They don't have an 8th inning guy or a 7th inning guy. This isn't the Kansas City Royals from 3 years ago with Wade Davis and Kelvin Herrera and Greg Holland. Those days are gone, especially with this team. It is matchup oriented. If you have the top of the lineup in that are all going to be righties, maybe you go with or righties or lefties. It just depends. You're going to go with Scott Alexander, or you're going to go with Daniel Hudson, or you're going to go with Caleb Ferguson. You're going to go with the guy that makes the most sense with the guys that are right up. There aren't that specific guy for each specific position. You're not going to have a setup guy. That's just not how this team works. And also, the starters will move to the bullpen. I want everyone to remember that. I'm saying it now. Remember it in September. Remember it in October. The starters will move to the bullpen. A lot of guys don't want to say this. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking it. I just don't see how you have 7 starters first 7 spots, and they're all been pitched out of the bullpen before, that they don't go to the bullpen when they're needed. This team is about winning. They're about positionality. If it's not just on the field, that's not just first base, second base, third base, shortstop, all that. It's also in the pitching staff. They are positionality as well, where they have guys that can start or can long relieve, or they can just pitch a little bit. This is a much stronger team than last year because of that. They're not going to rely on a guy like Brandon Morrow. They're not going to rely on Pedro Baez, who's thankfully not there. But there's a lot of guys that are going to be that you're going to see. All right, I got time for like 2 more questions. Michael R. Chavez, how about Rodney even though he's in his 40s? No, I don't want Fernando Rodney. The guy's going to fall apart towards the end of the year. He's he has good stuff, but no, I have no interest in Fernando Rodney. I'm going to be upset if they go after. That's a very old school Dodger move to go get a guy named Fernando Rodney. Stay away from Rodney. No. Ben Monreal, if Rue, how did I say it, comes back, put him as setup. Rue cannot pitch out of the bullpen. That's just not how it's like Kershaw. He is not going to be a guy that pitches out. He can only pitch out of the starting rotation, and that's what he was last year. That's where he's always been. He will be a starting rotation, and if he's not pitching well, he will not make the roster. There's enough pitchers here that he will not make the roster. He will be a starting pitcher or he will be nothing, and that's what we have to remember. All right, let's see. Jorge Correa, thoughts on Machado home run tonight? Love the Machado home run tonight. Let's get some big old hearts and thumbs up and all that for Machado. That's exactly what you need to see from Manny Machado. He is going to... That weight is now off of his shoulder. He's ready to go. He is going to be a guy that is now going to hit more home runs. He's going to have more power. You've seen some of that power been there. He had a double the other night. It's going to come with more time. And this home run is the start. This is that one that gets you going and gets those other home runs following right behind it. Let's move back over to here. Who are the 4 playoff starters? It depends, Steven Ladiner. It all depends on what you're going to get in September. Whoever's pitching the best, besides Kershaw, because he's going to be a starter, those 3 or 4 of those will be starters in the playoffs, and that's it. The other 3 will go to the bullpen, 3 or 4. It's just how it's going to work. Remember that. Starters, bullpen, positionless, positionality. Remember those words. He's happy to be here, bro, from last 2 first. That's right. That's exactly right. Why wouldn't he be? What about Walker Buehler? Walker Buehler has been up and down and left and right and single A and triple A and injured, DL, off DL. He just needs to get settled in. He's not going to be. He doesn't pitch well out of the bullpen, so Walker Buehler needs to be staying in the starting rotation as well. And again, another guy. If he's pitching well now, if he's not pitching well in September, he's off the roster. It's just how it is. These guys know what's happening. If they want to be butthurt because of it, that's on them. But this team is about winning and not about their position. This is how that game works. So Walker Buehler, I'm hoping for the best, and I hope he's the number 2 starter. I hope he's the number 3 starter. I hope he's there and he's pitching lights out like he was earlier in the year. If he's not, he's gone. He's coming back next year, and we're ready for him again next year. But that's just how those things work. There's too many guys, and there's too many spots available. You got to pitch your best, and that's great competition. That's what I have to say about that one. All right, I got one more question. That's it. One more question. And then go to @KevIsYourFriend. Go @RealFRG. Go to #DNPostgame, and you can get a lot of questions answered there. Those guys from Blue Heaven will be answering. I'm going to try and answer as well. But this is my last question, guys, and we'll try this up again another time. I might try to do on Saturday. Otherwise, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday are my days. That's what I think I'm going to do, and I'm going to add them in here and there. Dodgers Nation will always let you know my schedule, and I'm going to be doing this a lot more, hopefully with some more sponsors coming soon. Sponsors. Let's go. If you're a sponsor, hit me up on Twitter. DM me. I got you. I'll be happy to take you. All right. I've already answered one from you. I want to make sure I get one from someone that is not there. Please, Pedro, go positionless. Does Machado come... Okay, Ben Monreal. Does Machado come back next year? God, really, you're going to end me on this question? I don't know. It really depends. Are the Dodgers going to be willing to give him $250, $300, $350, $400 million? Then yeah, he'll come back. If he wants to go to the Yankees, like it seems like he does, then he's going to go to the Yankees. And that's just how it's going to be. Let's not do something that... I want to end on something a little bit better. Should Kersh be a number 3? Ernest Mota Jr. Should Kersh be a number 3 even though we still have a 6-man rotation? Oh, God. If he, right now, he is your number one starter. He will be your number one starter. Hello. He will. So he's going to be the number one starter. If he is not your best pitcher in September, he will not be your number one starter. This team has too many good, strong, solid arms that are going to be there in October, and this is what. And there, if he's the number two starter, then he's the number two starter. I mean, Kershaw is going to have to go back a little bit. His back is not as good as we had hoped it was going to be. So, but he looks good right now. I just hope if he just stays as strong as he has, we'll see a lot more tomorrow night because he's pitching tomorrow night. If he is good tomorrow night, I can see him sticking with that number one role, and Kershaw Day could be back. All right, that's it for me, guys. I got to get to my 6-year-olds. They're all going crazy in there. I'm just leaving my girlfriend with them, and I feel terrible about it, but I wanted to be here with you guys after a big 8-2 win over Atlanta and taking a 1.5 game lead back into the NL West. Go Dodgers. Manny Machado home run. Rich Hill was fantastic, and let's do this all again. I'm going to try and do it again on Saturday. Otherwise, we'll be back next week. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And remember, like me, follow me on Twitter, at BergmanGreg, at Official Dodgers Nation. Go watch all that stuff. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot. It was a ton of fun. And I'll have all your questions ready to go next time. See you guys.